Rivers of the World, written by Edward Allen Kurtz. Contents at a glance. What is a river? What is a river? A river is a natural body of flowing water. A small river is called a stream. A river usually consists of fresh water, and it mostly flows towards an ocean, a lake, a sea, or another river. For example, the Mississippi River flows into the Gulf of Mexico, which is a part of the Atlantic Ocean, but the Missouri River first flows into the Mississippi River. The Volga River empties into the Caspian Sea. However, there are a few rivers that just flow into the ground and never reach another body of water. River terminology. Other names for rivers include brook, creek, rill, rivulet, run, and stream. The beginning of a river is called its source, and the end of a river is called its mouth. The area between the source and the mouth is called the course of the river. Upstream means flowing in the direction of the source of the river. Downstream means in the direction of the mouth of the river. If a river carries a lot of sediment, it can create a delta, which is an area of land at its mouth. An estuary is formed when a river meets the saline water of an ocean. River uses. Rivers have been used by humans since the beginning of time. They are used as a source of water for transport, for bathing, and, more recently, as a source of energy with the building of dams for hydroelectric power. Rivers like the Amazon, the Ganges, the Indus, the Nile, and the Mississippi are still being used to transport goods today. Lumberjacks in Canada and Scandinavia use rivers to move logs downstream. Rivers are full of fish and other aquatic life, so they are a source of food for many people. Flooding. The flooding of a river is a natural part of its life cycle. When there is a lot of rain, rivers can overflow their banks. Most of the erosion that occurs during the life of a river happens during times of flooding. Many humans live along rivers, and flooding can be a big problem. Houses can be damaged, and people and animals can be in danger. One way to help with this is the building of levees. A levee is often made of earth, and it is a wall that is built up on either side of a river to prevent flooding. The longest river in the world. The Nile River is the longest river in the world. It is located in northeastern Africa and passes through 11 countries. They are Burundi, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. It is 4,132 miles long and empties into the Mediterranean Sea. It has two tributaries or branches, the Blue Nile and the White Nile. The two meet near the capital of Sudan, Khartoum. Because it passes through desert areas, it has always been an important river. The largest river in the world. The Nile River might be the longest river in the world, but the Amazon River is the largest. What is the difference between longest and largest? Largest means that the Amazon River has more water flowing in it than the Nile. It is located in South America and is considered the second longest river after the Nile. It has several sources that are found in Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, but it flows for the most part through Brazil. From its mouth, the most distant source is a glacial stream high in the Andes Mountains. The highest river in the world. The highest river in the world is the Yarlung-Zangbo River in Tibet, in Central Asia. In the Tibetan language, it is called Yangchabo Zangbo, which means the water flowing from the upper slope. It is about 1,200 miles long. About 75% of the length of the Yarlung-Zangbo River is at an altitude of over 10,000 feet above sea level, and about 25% of its length is at an altitude of over 13,000 feet. It eventually flows into India to become the Brahmaputra River, and later meets the Ganges River and flows into the Indian Ocean. The lowest river in the world. The lowest river in the world is the Jordan River. It forms a border between Israel and the country of Jordan. The Jordan River is about 150 miles long. Its sources are in Syria and Lebanon. It flows south into the Sea of Galilee in northeastern Israel. Then it continues southward through the Gore Valley and ends at the Dead Sea, which has no outlet. For most of its length, the Jordan River lies below sea level. The Sea of Galilee is about 700 feet below sea level, and the Dead Sea is about 1,400 feet below sea level. Famous rivers. The Danube River. The Danube River is a famous river in Europe. It is the longest river in the European Union and the second longest river in Europe after the Volga River. The source of the Danube River is in the Black Forest in Germany. It passes through 10 countries, including Austria, Bulgaria, Croatia, Germany, Hungary, Moldova, Serbia, and Ukraine, before emptying into the Black Sea. The Danube River is an important part of European history and culture. It has appeared in books, paintings, movies, and music. Famous rivers. The Mekong River. The Mekong River is a famous river in Southeast Asia. It is about 2,700 miles long and passes through 6 countries, including Burma or Myanmar, Cambodia, China, Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam. Because of waterfalls and rapids, the Mekong River is not easily navigated, but it is still an important source of transportation between China and countries in Southeast Asia. As it comes to an end in southern Vietnam, the Mekong River forms a delta before it empties into the South China Sea. Famous rivers. River Thames. The River Thames is a famous river in southern England. It flows through London as well as other cities and towns, including Oxford and Windsor. The Thames is the second longest river in the United Kingdom after the River Severn, but at 215 miles long, it is the longest river that flows entirely in England. Its source is at Thames Head in the Cotswolds, and its mouth is the Thames estuary near Southend-on-Sea. Many famous landmarks can be seen along the river like Big Ben, the London Eye, and Tower Bridge. River fauna. There are many kinds of fauna or animals that live in or along rivers. There are many kinds of fish like trout that live in streams and rivers. Amphibians like salamanders live here, as well as many kinds of reptiles like alligators, crocodiles, snakes, and turtles. The anaconda is one of the longest snakes in the world and lives near rivers in South America. River mammals include beavers, hippos, otters, and river dolphins. Most people think of dolphins as marine mammals, but there are a few kinds of freshwater dolphins. River flora. There are many kinds of flora or plants that live in rivers or along river banks. Plants that live in rivers include things like algae, bladderwort, seagrasses, watercress, water moss, and freshwater seaweeds, which are actually a kind of algae. Algae are very important to the life of a river because they help to make oxygen in the water. Some plants that live along the edge of rivers include ferns, grasses, lotuses, rushes, sedges, water lilies, wild rice, willow trees, and many kinds of wild flowers. Interesting facts. There are more than 75 rivers in the world that are over 1,000 miles long. Most rivers have only one channel or path, but some have more than one channel, and this is called a braided river system. Most rivers flow south, but 4 of the 10 longest rivers flow north, including the Nile River. The Nile River is the longest river in the world at 4,132 miles long, and the Amazon River is the second longest river in the world at 3,976 miles long. The Mississippi River is the longest river in the United States and borders 10 states, including Arkansas, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. The Amazon River is the largest river in the world, and it is larger than the next 5 biggest rivers in the world combined. The most polluted rivers in the world are the Ganges, the Indus, and the Yangtze rivers. Rivers are places to have fun with popular sports including canoeing, fishing, swimming, water skiing, whitewater rafting, and ice skating in the winter if it's cold enough for the river water to freeze. Some rivers flow all year long, but other rivers, especially those in dry areas of the world, only flow during the rainy season. Brackish is the word that is used to describe the slightly salty water that is found where freshwater rivers meet the salt water of the ocean. The bottom of a river is called the riverbed, and it is usually made of sand and stones. The Colorado River travels through the western United States, passing through the Grand Canyon. It is also home to many dams, including the Hoover Dam, which is a source of hydroelectric power.